right. Well, thanks everybody for coming here this afternoon. We're here to discuss the news that Walmart has announced that they will unfortunately not be building a store at 18th and Broadway as the company had intended, and certainly as the vast majority, 99.9% of this community wanted as well. And the frustrating truth is, had it not been for the lawsuit brought by a very small group of citizens, Walmart would be open today. 18th and Broadway would be a busy, active place. It would be filled with local folks buying food, buying clothes. It would be a place where 300 people from the neighborhood would be having jobs as well. Instead, it sits as a vacant and empty lot. And I tell you, it's a testament to some people's insistence that progress must only be made on their terms, even if it's just a very small group of citizens. Instead of thinking, as most citizens do, that the most important goal of any project is to serve the greater good of the entire community, not just a small group. Now, why'd this happen? As anyone that is involved in business will tell you, time kills deals. And the time taken up by this lawsuit killed the Walmart deal. In the nearly 2 years since Walmart has announced plans to build at 18th and Broadway, their business strategy has changed as well, and that's what I mean, time kills deals. It's been well known nationally that Walmart has announced multiple store closings. They focused on renovating a few others, but primarily they are trying to figure out how to be more competitive in the e-commerce space, which means they're shifting money to the digital world and away from the physical world. And our project in 18th and Broadway was a casualty of their changing business strategy and the time that this lawsuit has taken. This is not just super frustrating news for me, obviously. It's frustrating news for the entire community, but especially the proud citizens of Russell, of California, of Shawnee, and other West Louisville neighborhoods. So, okay, we're frustrated. As you've heard me say many times before, we're not measured in the end by how we're knocked down, it's how we get up. And the bottom line is we've got a wonderful piece of property along one of the most important corridors in our city. So some good news will be happening on this piece of property at some time. Now, we've got a lot of other things already going on in the community, and I don't want any of this to get lost. Let's not forget all this progress. The first home, marketplace home, market-priced home, was framed on Cedar Street this week. Today, Chef Space is bustling with entrepreneurs on Muhammad Ali, 18th and Ali, creating new jobs and new businesses in one of our most critical business sectors of food and beverage. Big news, we're finalists for the Choice Neighborhood Grant by HUD to revitalize the entire Russell area. 82 cities competed. We're down to the final 6. We're working on fundraising. We've set aside $950,000 in the budget for Waterfront Park Phase 4, which is along the river between 10th and 15th. And we're continuing to bring more jobs and economic development to West Louisville. Here's just a few businesses that have expanded in the West. Kentucky Peerless Distillery, Over the Nine, Dan Clayton, Great Northern, Fall City, and Keebler. So there's a lot going on, despite the fact that we got a little bad news today. And we got a tremendous number of people and organizations who love West Louisville, are very passionate about seeing it flourish, including the Louisville Central Community Center, One West, and so many church, neighborhood, and citizen groups. So while I say it's a tough decision that we're getting here today, we will always remain positive, and we will always keep working forward as well. You have my word that our entire team here at Metro will be continuing to focus on 18th and Broadway to hopefully get even a better deal in the future. When this deal with Walmart was put together, we were still at the tail end of the recession. Obviously, the economy is much better now, so we hope that will be a blessing for this piece of property at 18th and Broadway. So I talked about the many community leaders that have been helpful in this project. Reverend Charles Elliott from King Solomon certainly is one. Reverend, I appreciate you coming down here today, and if you'd like to share any thoughts with us, we'd love to hear from you.
Certainly it's disappointing, but I want to say that we are grateful and fortunate enough to have a mayor that if he get knocked down, he get back up. As we do know, the west end of Louisville is suffering. We have had now approximately 100 homicides. We needed Walmart, but I'm so grateful for what the Lord have blessed the mayor and those of you to put together. We have a $300 million hotel is being built here, who is creating jobs, working with Jesus in a job. Several of our people who made a mistake is now working on that job. We have now over $200 million being spent on the convention, International Convention Center. And I just want our citizens and want the people in the West End to know that we are going to overcome. It's very difficult, but we're going to overcome. And we're looking forward to working together. With unity, we can work together. I congratulate the mayor. This is one Louisville, all of us coming together under one umbrella. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Reverend. Our County Attorney, Mike O'Connell.
Thank you, Mayor. As everyone knows, this group here and behind have worked tirelessly to see this Walmart become a reality in West Louisville, and it's appalling that a small number of people involved in legal action were able to do this, because Walmart was not going to put this facility, I don't think, in West Louisville until these legal proceedings were concluded. There were motions pending before the Court of Appeals to dismiss the appeal because lawyers for the other side filed no briefs. They were trying to work side deals that nobody knew about. And the Court of Appeals did not rule on those. We thought we would have received a ruling by today, but on those motions that we had to dismiss the appeal, but it didn't happen. And like Reverend Elliott said, and the mayor, he's a tough guy. You get up, and I'm sure his team is going to do everything they can to help West Louisville in any way they can going forward. But this was appalling that this happened. Because of the way this was handled by a few people who had no interest whatsoever in West Louisville.
Thank you, Counselor. I want to thank really hundreds of people from the Metro team that have put in thousands of hours on this project. I want to thank all of the residents of West Louisville that have supported this project as well. A lot of folks have come together to work on this project. And I feel certain that we'll be working on another project together. So while we say this one's not happening, we'll work together on another project. We've been personally, obviously, involved with Walmart, talking to their leadership in the past couple months about this project. And we talked to them earlier this afternoon when they called to give us this unfortunate news. So with that, we'll be happy to take any questions.
Says that she's disappointed and devastated that the city allowed this to happen. Would you care to elaborate on why the Bridgewaters are saying the city has as much responsibility as the plaintiffs do?
Well, we appreciate the Bridgewaters' obviously contribution to this development. They're the developer for that piece of property. The city sold the property to them for $1 some years ago, and they put a lot of work into getting it site ready for this. The city obviously has also contributed by buying 6 parcels of land on top of the original piece of land, so it could be site ready for a big project like Walmart. I understand that there's a high level of frustration here, but the bottom line is the city cannot control the courts. Until the case was resolved, Walmart was not going to move forward. They made that very clear to us. So the courts are separate from city government, and I'm sorry that Teresa feels that way, but we feel like we've done everything that we possibly can on this.
You said that one of the contributing factors was these side deals going on with the litigation. I was at a council meeting where Council President David Gates was very upset because Kelly Downer had a conversation that didn't include him. What do you say to that? Did that have anything to do with the Metro Council getting involved?
Well, any of those deals did not affect the appeals court. I think it's fair to say. If any of those deals would have happened, it would have made this progress take even longer to resolve itself. So they were not helpful in that regard. Mike, do you want to have any comment on that?
No, I agree with that. And also there were issues in that appeal that were challenging the legal authority of the Planning and Zoning Commission to have even approved the Walmart project. And the Circuit Court disagreed with that and said that they were legally had the legal authority to do so. And then we were off to the Court of Appeals and the appellate courts, and those issues remained open. No one from the city, the administration or my office, was directly involved in any of those negotiations that were supposedly going on the side.
We have time for one more question.
Mayor, how do you overcompensate this now? Because certain people that may have thought of developing that piece of land, do you think that they'll be scared to because of what happened here, that it may happen again, given all the specific requirements that the plaintiffs wanted?
Well, we're at a different point in time. When we started talking to Walmart, obviously, and talking about this deal, it's been almost 3 years. The economy is in a better place right now. It all depends on what kind of development goes there. The fact remains that 18th and Broadway is a very desirable piece of property. On the east side, the YMCA is continuing forward with their development as well. They're optimistic in the next couple months they'll get together the tax credits to make that happen. So that will influence what happens on the west side as well. So what I can tell you from our economic development standpoint, from Louisville Forward and others, we're going to be putting the spotlight on that piece of property once again and invite development opportunities from all over the world.